Hello, welcome to another piece of news from the Minnesota Vikings. Today, we have a bombshell that just arrived in Minnesota. This signing is going to shake up the NFL and the fans are going to go crazy. So enough of the rambling, leave your like on the video and let's get to today's news. Christian Darrisaw returns to training and renews Vikings' hope in offensive reconstruction. After months of anticipation, Minnesota Vikings fans can finally celebrate news that brings not only relief, but also renewed hope for the 2025 season. Christian Darrisaw, one of the pillars of the offensive line and a symbol of the new Viking generation, returned to training this Tuesday, 10, during the team's mandatory minicamp, according to information from the Vikings' official website. Darrisaw's participation in individual training sessions marks the first major step in his return since the knee injury suffered in Week 8 of 2024 against the Los Angeles Rams, an episode that, at the time, compromised not only the protection of quarterback Sam Darnold, but also destabilized the entire offensive unit at crucial moments of the season. Darnold, as we know, is already a thing of the past. The future now goes by the name of J.J. McCarthy, the young quarterback out of Michigan who represents more than a new chapter. He represents a new era for Minnesota football. And protecting McCarthy, who has yet to make his NFL regular season debut, isn't just a tactical matter. It's a personal mission for the franchise, its coaching staff, and of course, the passionate fans who fill US Bank Stadium, dreaming of glory days. Darrisaw will be a central part of that mission. When healthy, the left tackle is a wall. Despite playing just 7 games in 2024, he was ranked by Pro Football Focus as the 11th best out of 140 qualified tackles, a statistic that confirms what fans already know. Number 71 is one of the best in the NFL at his position. His performance earned him a hefty 4-year, $104 million contract extension that keeps him in Minnesota through 2029. And it wasn't just an investment in talent, it was a vote of confidence in the team's backbone. But Darrisaw's return is just the beginning. The Vikings' offseason was by far one of the most aggressive in the NFL when it came to protecting the offensive line. And that was no accident. The management understood that without a solid foundation, the full potential of McCarthy and the offensive pieces would not have room to flourish. And so they acted with surgical precision. Former Colts guard Will Freeze arrived on a 5-year, $88 million contract, and Ryan Kelly, a veteran center and 4-time Pro Bowler, signed a 2-year, $80 million deal. Both bring experience, physicality, and game intelligence, essential ingredients for a group seeking cohesion and consistency. As if that weren't enough, Minnesota also went after one of the most dominant guards in college football last year, Donovan Jackson from Ohio State, selected with the 24th overall pick. According to ESPN's Kevin Seifert, Jackson should soon earn the starting spot on the left side of the line, displacing Blake Brandel. It's rare to see an NFL team take such a determined approach, let alone invest so many resources, to solve a personnel issue as the Vikings did this offseason, Seifert said. Everything points to Jackson being a starter in his rookie year, barring an injury. With that, the Vikings will have virtually a new face on the offensive line. The one, constant, Christian Darrisaw. His return symbolizes the intersection between the recent past and the promising future, and serves as an anchor for a group that finally seems ready to put the pain of 2024 behind them. For the purple and gold fans, last season ended on a sour note. The losses to the Lions and Rams still sting. Watching the offense fail to protect the quarterback, seeing promising drives fall apart due to relentless pressure or unnecessary sacks, was frustrating. But that seems to be changing. Darrisaw's return is a boost of confidence. It's as if the soul of the offensive line has been restored. More than just technique or brute strength, he brings with him leadership, consistency, and the fighting spirit that so embodies the Viking ethos. At 26, he's entering his best phase physically and mentally, and now, with McCarthy about to make his debut, there's no room for doubt. This line needs to be dominant. It needs to protect like never before. It needs to open up lanes for the running game, give time for deep passes, and most importantly, keep the rookie on his feet. US Bank Stadium is ready to cheer for McCarthy, to applaud Addison and Hawkinson, but before any pass or touchdown, the game begins in the trenches. And there, Christian Darrisaw is back at his post as a sentinel of the future. Jair Alexander is set to sign with the Vikings, reigniting the Packers' rivalry. The Wisconsin-Minnesota border may seem like just a line on a map, but when it comes to the NFL, it represents one of the fiercest rivalries in American football. And now, that flame has just been fanned. Cornerback Jair Alexander, for years a thorn in the side of the Vikings offense while wearing the Packers' green and gold, is about to cross that line and wear purple. After 7 seasons defending Green Bay, Alexander was officially released this offseason. A contract impasse, coupled with the lack of interested parties willing to fund a trade, sealed the end of his time in Wisconsin. For the player, the news marks the beginning of a new journey in the NFL. For the Vikings, it could be the beginning of a defensive revolution. With 2 Pro Bowls and 2 second-team All-Pro selections under his belt, Jair Alexander is not just another name on the market. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league when healthy. And now, free to choose his next destination, all signs point to him doing exactly what Green Bay fears most: bolstering its biggest division rival. Why Minnesota makes perfect sense for Alexander, and vice versa. In the eyes of Vikings fans, Alexander's arrival would have a special flavor. After all, how many times has he been the villain who shut down receivers like Adam Thielen or held Justin Jefferson in costly games? Imagine then that same talent playing on our side at US Bank Stadium, defending our colors. The Minnesota Vikings defense, under coordinator Brian Flores, has already shown in 2024 that it is a unit to be respected. The team finished among the best in the NFL in sacks, 4th place, pressure rate, 6th, and was the absolute leader in forced turnovers. It's a defense that hunts, that suffocates, that decides games. But there was an Achilles heel: the passing game. The Vikings finished the season as the 28th ranked pass defense, a stark contrast to the rest of the team's defensive performance. That gap needs to be filled if the team is to truly compete in the big leagues. And there's no one better to lead that transformation than Jair Alexander. Despite dealing with injuries in recent years, Alexander has remained consistent. According to Pro Football Focus, he is graded above 71 in coverage and overall defense in every season of his career. In addition, he has allowed fewer than 700 yards in 3 of his 4 full seasons. Elite numbers. For a defense that will face Jordan Love twice a year and will face elite quarterbacks like Jared Goff and Caleb Williams in its own conference, having a shutdown corner like Alexander could be the difference between an early exit and a deep playoff run. With Harrison Smith nearing the end of his career and Byron Murphy still a reliable name, the secondary will be in for a makeover. Minnesota has added interesting names like Isaiah Rodgers and Jeff Okudah, but they still lack that game-changing player. The one that opposing offensive coordinators need to double plan for. The one who can shut down WR1s and turn the defense into a dominant one on both sides of the field. Since his arrival in 2023, Flores has implemented an aggressive, intelligent, and reactive philosophy in the Vikings' defense. His schemes are not for just any player. They are for athletes capable of playing with intensity, reading, and adapting in real time. Alexander, with his athleticism, instincts, and playoff experience, fits this model perfectly. If healthy, he has everything to become not only an impactful piece, but a technical and emotional reference within a young and ambitious group. From villain to hero, the narrative that the Vikings deserve to live. Few stories excite a fan base as much as that of a former rival joining the team, especially when it is someone who for years caused pain and frustration. Imagine US Bank Stadium erupting in cheers when Jair Alexander intercepts Jordan Love in prime time. Imagine the former Packer holding his fist in the air, now as a Viking, after forcing a game-winning fumble in the playoffs. This narrative isn't just cinematic, it's possible. and the time to make it a reality is now. With J.J. McCarthy just starting his career, Justin Jefferson in his prime, and an increasingly respected defense, the Minnesota Vikings are building something special, and adding Jair Alexander to the equation could be the move that cements this team as not just competitive, but a legitimate Super Bowl contender. If the Vikings want to step up their game, they need to be bold, and Alexander, at 27, has plenty of fuel to prove he's still one of the best in the league, and that he can do it wearing purple.